Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here, and today we have some very interesting news concerning the game's former developer and current developer of the game Mere Korabley, Lesta Game Studios, who apparently out of absolutely nowhere is having their company assets seized by the Russian government. So that is the headline I read when I got my ping notification about this Discord message that was sent to me late yesterday, and it is most certainly an eyebrow-raising headline to be sure. So we're going to go over the article that I was sent. We're going to check out a couple more that gives us a little bit more of a glimpse into what's going on with Lesta. But if you are new to this whole situation here, whomst is Lesta? Way back in the day, Lesta Games was a game studio that Wargaming bought and had developed, well, World of Warships, the game we all know and love and play today. They're a game studio based out of St. Petersburg, Russia, a city that I most definitely would like to visit before I leave this mortal plane, right? Very beautiful city. But anyway, yeah, Lesta is based out of St. Petersburg, and they developed a World of Warships. They were known as Wargaming St. Petersburg when Wargaming acquired them, but before and after, they're known as Lesta. And if you go back and watch some videos talking about, Wargaming St. Petersburg when they were developing the World of Warships, they're commonly referred to as Lesta, right? But anyway, so they're the game's original developers. And when Wargaming left Russia and Belarus, they released Lesta back to, themselves. They're no longer Wargaming St. Petersburg. And Lesta was given task of, not really given task, but they were given Wargaming's products in Belarus and Russia. So essentially now Lesta operates their own version of water tanks and World of Warships and World of Warplanes, and Wargaming develops, their version of it, if you will. Although I know for World of Warships and Mere Korabley, which I think is World of Ships if you translate it from Russian to English, they have developed in two quite different directions. If you ever checked out their version of the game, which is what you're watching in the background. So there are two quite different games at this moment, right? But anyway, so they're running water tanks, water ships, and water warplanes in Russia and Belarus, and Wargaming's running, of course, their own versions of those games everywhere else. So Lesta has been by themselves running these games for a few years now. So apparently yesterday, the Russian government saw it proper to seize Lesta's assets. Now, what are these assets? Well, I'm not sure, because most of the articles that I've checked out, they don't really give specifics other than assets. So when you're talking about a company, I mean, if you're talking a legal term, that's pretty much everything the company uses to operate, everything from the office building to the furniture within to the computers and the servers and any and everything that the company owns, right? I mean, again, we don't have any specifics as to what exactly is being seized other than quote-unquote assets. I can tell you this right now, the games are still up and running, and you can go in and play Mere Korabley or, World of Tanks or World of Warplanes or their versions of those games, right? So yeah, they're still up and running at this moment, but other than that, we don't know. Now, by the time you guys are watching this, will be 2 days after this article went live. I should say that this news broke. But anyway, the article that I was sent, and pretty much what every other article says, is this. And I'm reading word from the article I was sent. You can see a link to that in the description down below where you can check it out for yourselves. Alright, so it says, an unexpected and unpleasant piece of news for the entire industry has emerged. Legal entities of the Russian studio Lesta Games, which develops and operates World of Tanks and World of Warships, have been seized following a lawsuit from the Prosecutor General's office. As reported by our colleagues at RBC, referring to the database of executive proceedings of the Federal Bailiff Service, the Tagansky District Court has seized three key legal entities of the gaming company. So Lesta Games Moscow, Lesta Games Agency. This action took place on April 17th at the initiative of the Prosecutor General's office, which is the claimant. The reasons remain unknown. Previously, in a conversation with RBC St. Petersburg, CEO and owner of Lesta Games, Malik Kadajiev, stated that as of the end of 2024, the group's revenue reached 35 billion rubles, the highest result in its history. Net profit amounted to approximately 16 billion rubles. The combined MAU of all the group's products reached 6.5 million people. So a million active users or monthly active users. So they have roughly 6.5 million people playing their games a month, or they so claim. Some brief conversions, 16 billion rubles, that's roughly 200,000 US dollars. So their revenue is, that's a little bit over double that, so it's safe to say $450,000. And their actual profit is about $200,000 as of the end of 2024. So they're making money. So I know that's pretty good in terms of like, a Russian game developer, right? Especially when you're talking about, a game that's limited to 2 countries, right? Anyway, so the update to this article says an official comment on the situation has appeared on the company Lesta Games Telegram channel. The company's management is aware of the situation and the issue is being resolved. The company operates in full compliance with the laws of the Russian Federation and the Republic of Belarus, so we have no reason for any concerns or to conceal information. We have not violated anything and have nothing to fear. Business processes in the company are proceeding as normal. All activities are being implemented and all agreements remain in force. We are fully cooperating with law enforcement agencies to resolve all arising issues as soon as possible. All necessary legal mechanisms are engaged. We have not violated anything and have nothing to fear. If only that was so true in Russia. So, as this article states, don't really know what's going on. But another article I was able to find gives a little bit more of an insight into what's going on. So the second article is also linked down below. It pretty much repeats what the other article says for the start. But there's a little paragraph here that gives us a little bit of a glimpse as to what may be going on. So this article, the second article, states, according to Forbes, the seizure of assets is related to a lawsuit filed by the Prosecutor General's office in the interest of the state, but specific claims have not yet been disclosed. Experts suggest that the case may be related to an audit of the company's financial transactions or corporate structure after its reorganization in 2022, and that's when Lesta and Wargaming split, and Lesta got control of Wargaming's IPs in Russia and Belarus, and now they are their own. So it's, from what we can guess and what we can read here, probably something to do with the finances of the company after the split. Now, what about them finances? Well, you see, Wargaming beforehand and still now, its financial headquarters is located in a little island nation called Cyprus. So that's not uncommon for a lot of companies that wish to avoid paying a lot of taxes, because Cyprus has some very lax tax laws, so they put their financial headquarters there. That's where most of the money goes, right, before being distributed in terms of like payroll and of course to the owners of the company, right? So that was a way that Wargaming did and still does use to avoid paying a whole lot of taxes. But now Lesta, obviously being stuck in St. Petersburg with all these sanctions and such on Russia, obviously don't have a whole lot of options laid out before them in terms of where their where their financials may go, right? So basically they had to be in Russia or Belarus. And of course in Russia, given the nature of the government, there's not too many profitable companies in the government that old Vladimir and his friends don't get, some cut from to go into their own pockets, right? And there's a possibility that Lesta, wasn't really doing this, and maybe they resisted giving Vladimir a cut so he can get his 27th yacht or something like that. there's that possibility that is very much possible, given again the way the Russian government is ran, and that's been a popular theory amongst the commentators that I've seen, where this article has been posted in the World Warships community sphere, and it's one that may not be too far off. There's also the complete possibility that it is some clerical error or something on Lesta's part after the split. I mean, Wargaming owned Lesta for quite some time, right? And of course, there's some possibility that something, some clerical error occurred and some money was misplaced, or perhaps some money was misplaced and it, someone vamoosed with some cashola in the company or something like that. So what I'm saying is, we don't know. It could be many things. We don't know as of right now. What does this mean for the game? I mean, it depends on what's happening with the seizure, right? Is the Russian government just using this as a threat to get Lesta to comply with whatever they want to do, be it something that is benevolent or be it something that is, of course, more, well, Russian in nature? Or are they actually going to go in and start seizing assets? They're going to, lock down the office building. They're going to take the computers. They're going to take the servers. It depends on what happens with that. Again, as of right now, the game's still running. Mir Korabley's still running. You can hop on it. Yeah. If there's no Mir Korabley footage in the background, there's World Warships footage in the background, that'll tell us a lot more, right? And I'll probably, of course, redo this audio if that's true. But as of right now, it seems like everything's still running as normal, and it's just going to depend upon what happens. I was hoping by now, when I sat down to make this video, there'd be some additional news available, but there's not. So yeah, looks like it's kind of for the best that Wargaming got out of Russia, right? Because at least World Warships don't have to worry about that for now, at least, right? It being located in the main dev studio being located in Serbia for the time being, and that's an issue with companies moving to these countries that are ran by autocrats, right? I mean, there's the complete possibility that whomever's in charge can just say, you know what, not feeling it today. I'm going to seize your company's assets and take all your money for myself. It's a big hurdle to get over when you're trying to develop a company or a modern economy in those types of countries, right? So, yeah, well, we'll see what happens with Lesta. I mean, for all the people that work there, right? I mean, Lesta's full of common, everyday people that are just going to work, trying to provide for their families, doing their job to the best of their abilities, trying to provide for their families. I feel for them in this time, because that's obviously a very scary place to be in when not just the Russian government, any government comes in and threatens to or takes over your company's assets. I mean, that's just terrible, right? For, again, your common average everyday person, which most people around the world are. They're just trying to provide for their families and make it through to another day. So I do feel for them for that. I do hope everything does turn out right at Lesta. Obviously, without them, we would not have World Warships. So I do hope everything winds up well over there. I mean, again, that's just a crappy situation to be in. So hope all does turn out well over there in the future. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. What do you think's going on with the Russian government seizing Lesta's assets and such? And do you guys have any insights into the situation? Any of you that have lived in Russia or maybe are in Russia right now, what do you think's going on over there? Please enlighten us down below. Hope you guys have a wonderful Saturday and a wonderful rest of your weekend. Hope to catch you guys in the next one.